How it all works.
Come on.
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 Yes, we are back. It's good to be home, y'all. I've been on the road a little bit. I was traveling this weekend. I got a chance to see some of my people in the Maryland area. Always good to get back to Maryland. We still consider Maryland home, y'all. How many pairs of glasses do you have? Listen, it's about to be a whole lot more because I have a couple here on the desk, but it's about to be a whole lot more because glasses are one of the things I'm going to use to kind of, accessorize my look. Come on. G. Albert, I see you. Thank you so much for the comment. And thank you so much for being here, y'all. I appreciate that. I see several of you in the comments already. 10 of you guys out here. We're not going to belabor the point. Y'all came for the goods tonight. It's a solo stream. You already know what it is. There's no guest to welcome or anything like that. It's just me and y'all. We're going to have a conversation around our content entrepreneurs and small businesses incubators. We're going to dive into that. But before we dive into that, we got to get into the news.
Your number one source for live video news.
Oh yes. So first up in the news is latest on our YouTube channel is StreamYard adds guest destinations feature. That's the latest video on YouTube. That dropped yesterday. Yes. It's still possible to drop new videos even as you travel, because that's a thing. Yo, Egu, my guy, what's going on? I'm always excited when I see LinkedIn comments coming through, because, you know, LinkedIn is a thing. We appreciate you out there. And I see G Alberts over on Facebook. Truly appreciate you for coming through as well. BT is in the space over on the Tube of Views, along with my guy Seesaw Studios. Excited that all of you guys are hanging out with us tonight. This is our latest video on the channel. StreamYard adds guest destination. So StreamYard's been on a roll, and I've got another StreamYard video. It's about to drop. We're going over custom layouts. We're gonna walk through that. One's gonna probably be a two-part joint, because I don't want to make a 15-20 minute video, so I'm gonna do a two-part joint on that one. But this is what's latest on the channel. If you haven't checked out that video, go ahead and hit it up. Let me know in the comments what you think. Definitely some great things to come from StreamYard and some of the other streaming platforms that are out there. Yo, I'm excited to have my people on the channel next week. Yo, JC Lane says, first timer. Wait a minute. First timer. JC Lane says first timer checking in. Thank you so much, JC Lane, for coming through. Always love that. K-Walk Comedy says hanging out, always informative. Oh man, we are in for it tonight. Y'all, let's clap it up for JC Lane in the chat. It's the first time that they're gonna be here, so we're excited for them to come hang out with us tonight. As I mentioned, man, we are excited to have AK Adventures. Aaron and Kyra are going to be on the channel with us next Monday night, and we're going to be talking about Instagram creators adding YouTube and live video to their strategy and why. We're going to dive into it, y'all. See, this has been a recurring theme. I've had this conversation on panel discussions, in person and virtual, all over the place. How are people shifting? I have coaching clients that I'm working with to make that transition from Instagram over to YouTube. We're not saying dump Instagram. What we're saying is your potential. Okay, we're not going to get into the show for next week, but your potential on YouTube is that much greater. If you have had rapid exponential growth on Instagram and you're thinking, man, I wonder how can I monetize this joint, you need to come on over to YouTube. So I'm gonna be tagging some people, because there's some people that I've had these kind of conversations with, but Aaron and Kyra have done it, and you should see their numbers on YouTube. Still, they've got ridiculous numbers on Instagram, but you should see their numbers on YouTube. So we're excited about bringing them through. Oh, James Riley says West Side. What's good, James Riley? What's good? Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us, man. Make sure y'all tag somebody in the comments, man. I see my mods coming through. Gary Jones is here. What's good, fam? Thank you so much for coming and hang out. G Albert says, guess who jumped over to YouTube? Of course he jumped over to YouTube, because that's what it is. Listen, so those are some of the things we just want to make sure you guys are aware of those. Make sure you come and hang out with us next week with Aaron and Kyra. It's going to be awesome. But listen. I already know that some of y'all Apple folks is looking at me sideways already. I haven't even read the headline. I haven't even read the headline, and you already looking at me sideways. Okay. Google is bringing their nearby share feature to Windows, making it easier to transfer files. Now, y'all know on the Apple side, you have that, copy buffer that is synced between your device and your laptop, and that's cool. But Apple's not opening that up to any of the other platforms. So if you have a Pixelbook, if you have a Windows machine of any sort, which probably most of you don't, but there are some that have a Apple machine, Apple phone, right? An iPhone, and then they have like a laptop of some other sort, but you can't share between those. You got to upload it to somewhere and then download it. Google, however, is making it much easier for you to share Android files between those devices. And I just wanted, this is one of those, it's part of that age-old discussion, this age-old conversation around, Android and Apple. But this is one of those things I like about being in this space. Tell it anyways. This is huge. Come on, Seesaw Studios. This is huge. This really is big, because heretofore you were only able to share Android with with Android. So Android with Chrome OS, my bad. Android with Chrome OS. Android, Chrome OS, both made by Google. You could share between the two. Same thing for Apple. So you could add iPhone, Mac OS, you could share between the two. Here, Google is actually bringing their share feature to Windows. And so quite as it's kept, Windows still has market share, right? Like, they're still the top operating system on the planet. I know there's crickets right now, because some of y'all are like, what? I thought Apple, no, Apple has never wanted to be the top. They want to have a very loyal base, and I love what Apple has done, but they've never wanted to be the top. Still to this day, Windows is still the king of the heap in terms of market share. If you're talking about all the computers in the world, how many of them have Windows on them? That's the top number. Okay, so the fact that Google is bringing this to that platform. Come on, Marcello Arsley. Man, I'm usually good at pronouncing names, and that one is a tongue twister for me. But Marcello says, Team Live. Hello from Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you so much for being here. I love my LinkedIn fam. You know, we're trying to grow on that platform. We are feeling out here. I love it. I see it. But listen, I'm excited about this feature because what it means is that those who have Android devices, ding, 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 ding. I actually have both an Android and an iPhone, but those who have Android devices will now have the ability to share files to all those Windows machines. Definitely something to keep in mind. Another thing, I've been playing around with a new browser. It is called Arc. And that's not what I'm going to showcase next. It is a new browser. This just dropped today. Now, how many of you are concerned about privacy? If you're concerned about privacy, let me know in the chat. If you're concerned about privacy, let me know in the chat. I'm looking for you in the chat. If you're concerned about privacy, right? Now, when you do a search for, I recently, we were buying tickets at the office, right? We were buying tickets. I work for an international television ministry, and we were buying tickets, and we had to go into a private browser to search for the tickets, because if you don't, then the tickets will start to go up because all those sites are tracking you and they know you want those tickets, so they'll start raising the prices on those joints. And oh my goodness, Chris Stone is on the space, and so we are in our daily lives, we are constantly being tracked by these browsers. Chrome is notorious for just tracking you. If you're not familiar with the term cookies, this is a whole thing. And as it's given rise, there it is. BT says, yes, sir. There is given rise. Marcello says Tor. He knows what it is. It has given rise to a whole slew of new browsers out there. DuckDuckGo is one that I have used and have recommended in the past. But the new Tor infused browser can be a game changer. Can be. I like how Marcello puts that. Can be. And so this is Mulvad, is a new browser developed in collaboration between the Tor project and Mulvad VPN. So it is a browser that also uses VPN. So it's like double secure. Chris Stone says, I came here for the cookies. That is dope. I love seeing it. I just love seeing that IN tag on the names. I love my YouTube fam. I love my Facebook fam. But I'm adding LinkedIn to the mix, and I'm excited to be able to chat it up with you guys tonight. But yeah, so those are some of the things. Hey, make sure you guys are sharing as well. But those are some of the things that have really given rise to things like the Mulvad browser. And I think this is something to check out. I will be checking it out. And if you guys are interested, let me know. I'll report back. And for those catching the joint in the replay, let me know in the comments. I'll report back and let you know what I find about it. Right now, I'm still working with Arc browser. It's an invitation only joint right now. If you're interested in it, I have a bunch of invitations. Yo, DM me. I'll hit you with an invitation if I have it available. Okay. I just sent out like 5 invitations like a week or so ago because I have them. So I figure, hey, let more people try this thing out. Yeah, but this is a new browser called Mulvad. Definitely something that I want to make sure you guys are aware of. Here's one that is definitely poised to make us all feel old. For the number of you that are watching right now, do you remember this? 50 years ago today. 50 years ago today, this man made the first cell phone call. The cell phone turns 50. Does that not feel a little too young? Does that not feel like, doesn't it feel like, wait a minute, we've had the cell phone way longer than that? No. Nah, I actually had to think about this. When I saw this headline, I was like, oh, I'm definitely making sure that I put this in our news segment for tonight. 50 years ago today, Martin Cooper, April 3rd, 1973, standing on a corner in downtown Manhattan, makes a phone call to a friend. In fact, it makes a phone call to a competitor. This is the gentleman 50 years later. This is him. This is him right here. This is him right in here. Yeah, on a sidewalk on 6th Avenue in Manhattan with a device the size of a brick, and made the first public call from a cell phone to one of the men he'd been competing with to develop the device. Martin Cooper, 50 years ago today, made history by making the first cell phone call. Come on, y'all. Talk to me in the comments. Is that not 50 just like hip hop? Oh, man. That is crazy, right? Come on. This, yeah. Classic. Look at those phones on the screen, man. Man, that is crazy. And this is the thing why I bring this up. I think this is so relevant for the news is because does anybody know how long we've been able to live stream? I'm not going to answer it. I'm going to wait till later in the show. I'm going to give you till later because I want somebody to actually go and look it up. How long have we been able to live stream? The cell phone just turned 50 today. It seems like the cell phone's been around a lot longer than that. And to be quite honest with you, that cell phone that turned 50 today is not a cell phone that was publicly accessible. We didn't really have publicly accessible phones until about 2000 or so, right? So, I mean, honestly, I didn't get my first cell phone until 2000. That's because that's when it was, that Nokia phone that was indestructible. You could throw it against the wall and the battery would pop out and you'd put it back together and you'd keep on playing Snake. You had the T9 typing on there. It was predictive text. Oh, okay, I'm done. I'm telling my age now. But the truth of the matter is, I want to listen. Telegraph days, Morse code days. Come on. Time flies with innovation. I think Disney turned 100 today. Come on, Seesaw Studios, OG Mobile. But how many of you know how long it's been? Kirk Nugent did the first live stream when webcam was invented in 2002. No, not me. But I do. Did you look that one up, Chris? I don't want to give it away, but I do want you to look at how long when was the first live stream? And some of that's going to depend on how you define a live stream. But anyway, listen, we came here tonight for a specific purpose, and we wanted to talk about this concept, our content entrepreneurs and small businesses incubators. We're going to dive in and we're going to find out next. Looked it up. The internet's first live video stream in history, a performance on June 24, 1993 by GarageBand, severe tire damage. Seesaw Studios looked it up. I like it a lot. That's pretty cool. That's not the answer I was looking for, but that's okay. And again, that's what I meant when I said it's going to depend heavily on our definition of a live stream. Our definition of a live stream is going to determine heavily what that date is. Our content entrepreneurs and small businesses incubators. I'm going to rattle through these. I've got 5 slides, y'all. Man, 6. I don't know. I think they're 5 slides. I'm going to rattle through these because I want to get into some conversation and I want to do some Q&A. And then we're going to close out the show. It's a solo show today. We're going to keep it light. But our content entrepreneurs, G. Albert says, let me check Chat GPT. Our content entrepreneurs and small businesses incubators. Are they incubators? Well, you know how I present. I like to go into the nuts and bolts, and I want to understand what is let's start with the first definition. What is a content entrepreneur? What is it? Let me know in the comments. What is a content entrepreneur? Is that a thing? I have the definition in front of me on screen right now, but I want you to let me know. What is a content entrepreneur? If you know what an entrepreneur is, when you add content to it, what does that mean? Andrew Francis is here. He says nuts and bolts. Come on, talk to me. What is a content entrepreneur? Entrepreneurs are folks who are willing to take a bet on themselves, folks who have created a product or service in the form of a business that they are using to serve a particular audience. And so by extension, right, we then would have content entrepreneurs who are looking to do the same thing as an entrepreneur, but with content. Is it just that simple? Or is there more to it? A content entrepreneur is someone who creates content to grow an audience, to eventually make money from that content that they develop. Content entrepreneurs are building a content business, not using content as a marketing, right? Not using content as a side gig or a hobby. They're looking to create a content business. Now, I want you to listen to the last line of this thing right here that says, not using it as a marketing tool or a side gig or a hobby. Oh, wait a minute. Not using it as a side gig. So it's a business, a content business where they're making money from the content. So sometimes you might say like an influencer gets their money from the brands that they partner with. Right now, I've got a partnership with EV Mux where I create content for their YouTube channel. Now, here's the thing, though. It's not necessarily an influencer contract. Why? Because I am creating content for their channel, right? I'm creating content that goes on their channel. I cannot benefit from that content. I'm creating content that they're essentially paying for that goes on their channel. Do you see the difference? Those videos don't go on my channel with my subscriber base. Those videos go on their channel with their subscriber base. And so essentially it's a transaction. So that entity, that content is actually the thing that they're purchasing. It's a content business. Oh, Chris Stone has come through. Chris Stone says content entrepreneurs provide valuable content that people will follow, subscribe, and pay for to amplify their brand. I like it. I like it. I like it. Chris always comes through with something good, man. Content entrepreneurs, talk to me in the comments. I'm going to keep moving. Like, as I mentioned, I only have a few slides here. I just want to dive into this thing. I want to break it down real quick, and then we're gonna move on with our day. Small business. What do you consider a small business? This is a very easy answer, a very easy definition. Small businesses is defined as a privately owned corporation, partnership, or even sole proprietorship that has fewer employees and less annual revenue than a corporation or regular sized business. Small businesses are types of corporations, partners. But let me tell you, small businesses are a specific niche also. Small businesses, as you heard in the definition, sometimes are sole proprietorships, meaning there's just one employee doing the work of the business, or there's one employee and then there's many kind of subcontractors, if you will. The business functions to meet a specific need, to provide a service, product, goods, whatever. But they're smaller than regular sized businesses or corporations. So I wanted to give you those two definitions because once we understand that as a base, this is what a content entrepreneur is. This is what a small business is. Now, are they incubators? Now. in the startup world, in the launch world, right? In the entrepreneurship space, you have these terms that are used interchangeably. And but I am just a firm believer that the original definition of the term gives insight and perspective as to how we're using it currently. I'll read for you the definition. Come on, I'm going to read for you the business definition, but I want you to I want you to put your definition of an incubator in the comments. So this is a business definition: a place, especially with support staff and equipment, made available at low rent to new small businesses. That's an incubator. An incubator. An enterprise that provides support to entrepreneurs refining startup concepts in a continuing and open-ended relationship that includes access to mentoring, networking, or legal assistance, often in a collaborative workspace, aka accelerator. These are some of the business definitions of an incubator. Talk to me in the comments, y'all. Well, what do you think? I see several of you are still here hanging out with us tonight. I'm looking at my numbers. I'm looking at my comments. Maybe I've run you off. Maybe you're like, I didn't come here for this. Let me get out of here. And that's okay too. We can't all be winners, but I definitely wanted to broach this concept, this subject tonight. And there's a very, very real, heavy reason of why I'm doing that. There is a reason as to why I'm bringing this up, because we have a bit of an announcement to make. And so I'm actually jumping in. Okay, cool. I see you out here. I'm jumping in on the just to make sure that I'm seeing all of your comments. Angel investor. An angel investor can also be an incubator. All right. Seesaw Studio says a place designed to nurture, mentor, and accelerate the growth of new businesses by providing resources to help you start. Now, I love that. Entrepreneurs are willing to birth new ideas. Andrew Francis is using the cheat code. Jumping in on your show is a breath of fresh air. Come on, Marcelo. I like Marcello. I like that. I like that. Thank you so much for being here with us. This is what I want to share here. I'm here for the content and information. Teach us, Kirk. Come on, Mr. Riley's World. I appreciate you, sir. I appreciate you. I'm going Oh man, Malta. That is absolutely awesome. Look, here's what I want to, I said this earlier. I'm going to go back to it. The original definition of the term gives us insight and perspective. I'm interested to see where you're going here. The original definition of the term gives us insight, gives us perspective, gives us context in terms of how it is currently being used. Incubator, I'm reading this. It says the North American definition: a place, especially with support staff and equipment, made available at low rent to new small businesses. That's what they determine an incubator is. Then several of you have shared entrepreneurs are willing to birth new ideas, a place designed to nurture, mentor, and accelerate the growth of new businesses. Angel investor. We have several different definitions of incubator. So now, what is the original definition of an incubator? Anybody? An incubator, an enclosed apparatus providing a controlled environment for the care and protection of premature or unusually small babies. Uh-oh. That joint will preach. Okay. Let me try my best to get back. An enclosed apparatus, incubator, an enclosed apparatus providing a controlled environment for the care and protection of premature or unusually small, I'm going to change one word, businesses. Premature or unusually small ideas. content, startups. That's the definition of an incubator. Okay. Let me read a different one. You guys are not with me. Care and protection. Come on. Here, you guys are not with me yet. I see you out there, Chris Stone. Thank you so much, sir. An apparatus used to hatch eggs or grow microorganisms under controlled conditions. I want you to understand the difference between the traditional business definition of an incubator and what an incubator in its original format, its original context actually meant. The incubator was a space. You can see the picture I have on the screen right now. It's like a laboratory, and there's a little leaf, there's a little thing growing out of a petri dish. It's a space that it creates an environment for something to grow unhindered, uninhibited, a thing that would otherwise die if it didn't have this space. It would actually cease to exist if it wasn't in the incubator. Let me read another one. A enclosed apparatus in which conditions are controlled as of temperature for protection and care. This is what Chris Stone just put in the comments. The incubator creates some of you are trying to get started in content creation, trying to get started with your business, trying to get started with your startup, trying to get your concept and your idea off the ground. Some of you have said, multiple people have told me to provide this service and they would pay for it. And you can't understand why it keeps on failing to launch. You can't understand why only 3 episodes into the podcast, it's dead. You can't understand why the YouTube channel just can't seem to be consistent. And I would like to submit to you, you haven't created an incubator. You haven't created a space for that thing to grow. The atmosphere that you're trying to bring this business up in, it ain't right. You know what they call a studio, Chris Stone? A studio, by definition, is control. If you have windows open and the sun can just kind of do like this, a cloud can pass by and all of a sudden you're dark, you're not in a studio because you can't control the elements. An incubator is a studio for your content. It's a studio for your business. It's a studio for your ideas. An incubator is a controlled environment where you and I get to create a space where the conditions are right. Where the conditions are ripe for growth. Baby is born prematurely. They put it in an incubator. Oh my God. There's so much in this entrepreneurs, the adage, the analogy of entrepreneurs giving birth to business has been used, ad nauseum. But what happens if your business comes out prematurely? it didn't have the proper gestation period. Come on, somebody in here. And you were not able to give it an environment such that when it was able to come out, it could stand on its own 2 feet. You need to put it in an incubator. You got to protect that thing. You've got to hold space for your content, for your business, for your idea, for your startup, for whatever it is you want to grow and be successful. You've got to guard that thing. Here's the couple of mistakes that we make with our ideas, with our content, with our strategies, with our businesses. We don't control the environment. And because we don't control the environment, we take on whatever client. Somebody comes and says, hey man, do you offer so-and-so? And because you're so hungry, it's a new business. Because you're so desperate, right? You want this thing to make money. You tell them yes. And you start doing things that you didn't actually create the business to do. You actually didn't get into content creation to do live shopping, but now because the live shopping thing is kind of taking off, you're like, let me do that. But what did you get into it for in the first place? Guarding your no is a part of creating the conditions that are conducive to growing your business, to growing your channel, to growing your content so that it can stand on its own 2 feet eventually. That is the incubator. And so the question, as we get ready to round home base here, as we get ready to round, Seesaw Studio says, preach, the photographer knows the value of controlled spaces. Come on. As we round home base here, this is it. Business incubator versus incubator. Business, an enterprise that provides support services to entrepreneurs, refining startup concepts in continuing and open-ended relationship that includes access to mentoring, networking, legal assistance, often in a collaborative workspace. That is the definition of a business incubator. A business incubator is a program that gives very early stage companies access to mentorship, investors, and other support to help them get established. Business incubators work with early stage companies to get them to move beyond, listen to this term, their embryonic phase. You're wondering why your content has not been successful. You're wondering why the business is a failure to launch. There's no incubator. There's no incubator. So how do we answer the question? I'm done now. How do we answer the question, are content entrepreneurs and small businesses incubators? How do we answer it? How do you answer it? It depends. The sub-tagline there says, your track record has the answer. It depends. It depends on how you're running your operations. It depends on if you've actually given your business space. I said to a coaching client the other day, because we're on video number 3 of a 40 video series that she is recording, and she wanted to make some tweaks and some changes. And I said to her, you've got to give the original plan time to see if it's actually successful before we start making changes. We've got to give it time. We've got to keep it in a control. We've got to give it the incubator for us to be able to see, does this work? Should we change? You can't change. You can't edit and tweak on video 2. We've got 40 more to go. Are you nurturing that business? Are you nurturing that content? Are you shielding it? Have you created space for your business to grow and mature and realize its true potential? Patience, Chris Stone says. The answer really depends on you. Depends on how you have been growing your business, how you've been growing your content. Content entrepreneurs, small businesses can be incubators. And it is a very unique and specific, and in my opinion, special road that they walk. There are so many stories of content entrepreneurs and small businesses. I'll give you one example. At the end of my masterclass, I did a masterclass on remote production. And in that masterclass, I'm done with my slides now. In that masterclass, I had a Q&A section at the end. Some of you may have even been in the class. And during the Q&A, it became kind of a therapy time, right? I mean, remote producers were sharing with me some of their horror stories of how they were taken advantage of how people had shifting requirements and there was no finish line, and how they, so it was, there was one lady at the end, she said, "Thank you so much for holding space for us to share how we have been hurt in business in our embryonic stages." Come on, Kenny Bizarro says, I sense a new t-shirt. I'm not procrastinating, I'm incubating. Come on. I love it. Soldiers in the trenches telling war stories. Seesaw Studios, that's exactly what it was. Folks were there sharing some of them were dark, man. One lady was in tears. I mean, folks who they had bent over backwards to really get their project across the line, to put it in its best light, creating overlays and intros and transitions on the fly while live. They were doing all manner of things. 3-day event, and then they stiffed them on the balance of the project. Horror stories, man. And one of the things that me and my wife decided is we have heard too many of these incubator stories. Businesses that are in their embryonic stage where they really need care, where they really need a controlled environment, and yet they're being taken advantage of. And we decided we're going to do something about it. We don't necessarily profess to have a solution, but what I found to be impactful and powerful for that group that I was with was allowing them space to share their stories. I said to them, the reason my contract is the way that it is because I've been taken advantage of. I've had experiences where folks didn't do me right. The reason why I ask for these questions up front, the reason why I share with folks what the a la carte items are that they can purchase, is because I want them to know that they're not getting those. Don't ask me for it after the fact. Oh, can you throw in this? No. I already told you on the front end that costs this. I shared with them those principles, those practices, the business side of remote production. That's the sub-tagline of the masterclass that we had. And they began to realize, like, oh, you've had some rough experiences too. Like you also have some incubator stories. In fact, your entire guide, Kirk, came from your incubator stories. And we we held space for these incubators to sit on the couch, as it were, and for them to share their stories. That was a masterclass format, but my wife and I have had this experience over and over and over and over again with friends, with colleagues, with fellow entrepreneurs and small businesses locally here in this space and far across the world. Literally Zoom meetings where you're just sitting there listening and talking and encouraging. And what we realize is there is power in allowing people space to share these stories, number one. And because those stories are shared, we can learn from them so that we can create our incubator space in a way. Listen, some of the policies that we have are because I'm still incubating my business. Some of the forms you must fill out, some of the processes I require you to go through, because I want to make sure I am putting my business in a space where it can succeed. Those all came from incubator stories, and we are wanting to launch a show. I don't know if she's going to come and join me, but I don't know if I'm even ready for her to come and join me. We are hoping to launch a show called The Incubator's Couch. Yeah, we're going to do a limited run of that show, and we're going to talk to fellow content entrepreneurs, fellow small businesses. We're going to hear their stories. We're going to learn from those stories. We're going to hold space for them to voice their hurt. We're going to provide feedback. We're not just going to have a pity party. We're going to say, hey, did you do this? Did you do this? She's coming in. Did you do these things? Here we go. All right. Yeah. I told her to be ready to come in and join me, and then I am not ready. See how that works? But we're gonna be holding space for content entrepreneurs, for businesses to be able to share their unique stories. And you don't need the headphones.
Oh, okay.
But I feel like you're lower.
I'm on a little chair.
Oh man.
You look taller than me.
I'm not that much taller than her, y'all. But the content. Oh man, let me lower down a little bit because I feel way taller. It's not working. All right, let me see. Did we lose anybody? No, we didn't. We gained people. People always love when Kanika's here. Come over a little more. You're out of frame. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm hearing you good, so you're good. But yeah, we're gonna create a new show called The Incubator's Couch. Now, I know for a fact that the name will take some explaining, or maybe it won't. I don't know. And maybe we'll have to come up with another name. Hey, what's going on, Euritzy? But the idea, the concept is very simple. Mm-hmm. we know that people have benefited from being able to share their stories.
Yes.
And we know that we have been able to benefit from those stories because we've learned new ways to safeguard. You see the term incubator now?
Our business. Yeah.
Our own business, because of what was shared by some of these other folks. And some of the things that we share with would-be entrepreneurs, folks who want to launch out on their own. Maybe they're doing a side hustle just to begin with, and then they're going to get into something else later on down the line. But we've been able to share details from our own journey that have been wildly beneficial for us as well.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you wanted to dive in and say anything.
Pretty much. That's pretty much what you're saying, because I've received many a phone call where, somebody's just like venting, like, you would not believe what happened with this client and so forth. And by the time we're both done, we're both feeling so much better from
Turn it up a little bit.
talking. Which one?
The second one.
This one? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the time we're both done talking about that one issue, we both feel a lot better. And we've learned from those mistakes that we made. Like, okay, you shouldn't have done this. You should have done this.
That's it.
And I'm telling you, that community that we hope to build with other entrepreneurs, I think it would be so beneficial, because that would help you to avoid certain things and learn different things so that you can be successful. So that's the whole reason behind it.
Yeah.
And a venting session is always good, I think.
No, and that's.
And it's not just going to be venting. You will gain something from it as well.
Yeah, no, but I think that the stories. G. Albert, tell me if the mic is good now. Okay. Yeah, G. Albert, tell us if the mic is good now.
How does it sound now?
But there's always something beneficial that we get from the venting.
Yeah.
And here's the thing that we know to be the truth. Y'all like stories.
Yes.
No, that's
And we got a lot of
no,
stories.
y'all like stories.
So many stories.
There is a ton of
Oh my
stories that
goodness.
we will anonymize.
Yeah.
And we will share. That's the only requirement to come on the show is
No
that
names.
you don't share any names. Lord help us. No names. But there's a ton of there's so much that we can learn from stories. In fact, this is one of the reasons why I speak the way that I do. Oh man, it's still saying a little louder for her.
I'm gonna turn it up some more.
No, that's not.
No?
That's just for us. Okay, talk now.
Okay. How does that sound? Is it better? I'm gonna swallow the mic.
Yeah, you might have to really.
Like really get up on the mic. Okay.
Okay. But yeah, there's always something beneficial. When the reason why I present the way that I present is because people resonate with stories. I think you saw Chris Stone say it in the chat a little earlier. He was like, I'm actually looking to see where this goes, right? Because as we're defining the different pieces, content entrepreneur, small business, incubator, he's like, where is he going with this? And of course, as soon as we turned that corner, he was like, okay, I'm with you, right? Because story is really the cheat code for anything that you want to do. Story gets behind the walls. Story will have folks standing up in the bread aisle at Publix, listening to you on their phone, and they don't realize that 20 minutes has gone by, and they're just standing there. The story is the cheat code, and this is one of the things I know to be true. We want those stories to be heard.
Yeah.
So for the person who's going to share the story, there's something therapeutic by being able to get it off their chest.
Yes.
But for the people who are watching, there is something about just hearing the story.
Yeah.
So maybe you'll never be an entrepreneur. Maybe you'll never go into business for yourself. Maybe you'll never go into content creation. But you'll hear these stories and you will gain insight. Watch this.
And if they are to work with an entrepreneur, they will kind of know ahead of time, okay, I should not do this. Maybe I should do this. They'll know. So that is beneficial for someone who is not an entrepreneur.
Yeah. You'll gain insight into what that life looks like. But you'll also see all the hallmarks of a clientzilla, right? Is that the term? Clientzilla. We've had multiple clientzillas, and you want to begin identifying clientzillas before they become your client. So the best way to do that is to begin to refine your framework. Oh my, there's so much that we're going to be able to share in this new space. But I want you to understand that the whole show is still very much seated squarely in the concept of how it all works, because you'll be able to peek behind the veil. You'll be able to see those puzzle pieces fit together.
How it all works.
You'll be able to see how it all works. But no, man, that's essentially it. Our content entrepreneurs and small businesses, mercy, let me try and say that one more time because it's a tongue twister. Our content entrepreneurs and small businesses incubators. The answer to that question is it depends. It depends on if you're creating space for your business to have the runway to really take off. You can't take off on a short runway. You will crash and burn. Every airport, every airplane needs a long runway to be able to take off. Period. Point blank in the story. So the incubator is ensuring that you not only have the requisite amount of runway, but extra. Because your first time taking off, you're not an expert. Oh boy, somebody. I hope y'all are catching this thing. See, you're not an expert. So the incubator means you have you've set up an environment where success is not only encouraged, it is the default outcome. And how do we set up that environment for our content, for our businesses? Like, man, there's just so much that we're excited to be able to share in this new series.
Yeah.
So we've kept you long enough. What is that? 8:26. Oh, we got 4 more minutes. We can talk.
No,
what else we want?
we can wrap it up.
Any questions out there? David Hunt says, I just realized that I didn't click the like button. You need to incubate the like button.
Hilarious.
Oh, Blind Guy's Wife Their Life says, facts. Kanique is the boss. I stopped listening and lurking when she showed up. Oh my goodness. I haven't seen Lakita and Corey in the comment section in a very long time. I'm excited to see y'all. Thank you so much for coming through. It's like family reunion tonight, but these are the things that are going to really help us, I think. And I'm excited because this is not going to be a Kirk show. This is going to be a Kirk and Kanique show. I have been longing for such a show for a long time.
Oh boy.
We're still debating on whether it's going to be on the composition channel, if it's going to be on this channel. We're not really certain exactly how we're going to launch that thing, but we just know that for sure this is something that we want to do because this is an area we see rapid growth for us. So we want to create in this way, and we've actually asked for your support, your prayers. We'll be closing out the season here with How It All Works this month. The end of April will be the season finale. That last Monday in April will be our season finale. I'm actually going to try and get a number of our guests from the season to come through and hang out for that season finale. We haven't done a season finale in a long while, so I'm excited to be able to kind of give this one a proper season finale. And then we'll start in May. I think it's May. We're trying to do our first 4 episodes. Are you going to have a therapy couch in the studio? We're trying to.
I know, that would be so perfect.
We're trying to. We want to launch that first Monday in May. Going to keep the same time, same date, because that day is already blocked on the calendar in terms of a show day. But we are definitely looking to kind of launch out and do this new show, the Incubator's Couch. So will we have a couch in the studio? I don't know. We actually wanted to do these in person. We wanted to have people come to the house, sit on our couch and share their story. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that, though.
Maybe 1 or 2, because a lot of the people we work with are not here in Huntsville. So it might be a mix. You never know. It
might be a mix. Yeah. So sounds exciting. Can't wait. Seesaw Studio says, Blind Guys Wife Their Life. They're asking a question. And that question is, my only question is, if there are guests lined up to share their stories, or are you featuring stories you curated? There'll be guests.
There'll be guests, but we'll also have our own stories in the midst of the discussion, I think.
There will be guests, but we will also share stories. There'll be segments of the show that'll be just for Kanique, just for me. We'll bring the guest in. Sometimes it'll be a live guest, and so we'll be able to ask them questions. Other times it'll be a recorded guest. So You never can tell.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a great idea. Actually, we could do it live. We could do the live, but then have the people come to the house and record them here.
That'd be really cool.
That'd be way better too, because
But you know,
quality
we'll figure
would
it
be good.
out. We'll wing it.
I will not be serving any okra.
Oh gosh.
No okra will be served. But no, you guys listen. This is it's one of the reasons why I wanted to just kind of have this for my solo show for the month, because this is the only solo show for this month. Next week we have Aaron and Kyra. The week after that we got Tanya Smith, and then the last weekend of the month, last Monday of the month, will be our season finale. I'm excited about this, y'all, and I hope that you guys are going to take the journey with us. Nothing will change in terms of content on the channel. We'll still do the Amazon lives. We will still do our YouTube videos on Sundays. The Monday show will just flip to, instead of how it all works, or convos and collabs, whatever it might be, we will just have that Incubator's couch. In fact, I've actually have a backlog of podcast episodes that have not been released. So we're going to be releasing those as well. So make sure you're tuned into the podcast. Fam, any questions for us as we get ready to close this thing out tonight, man? This was good. I hope that you got something from it. I hope that if you are in a small business, a solopreneur, content entrepreneur, and you have been wondering, man, what can I do to really set this thing up right? How can I give myself space for success? Then I hope that we got you across the line in terms of some of the content that we're sharing tonight. For my LinkedIn fam, I want to say thanks to you guys for hanging out with us. That's always cool. Joe Rogan learned quickly, you don't want guests coming to your house. I hear you on that. But, one of my favorite podcasts right now is The Basement with Tim Ross, and he's got them coming to the house. Anyway, but yeah. Thank you guys so much for coming through. Are you doing a studio review on Wednesday? How much lead time do you need? Hey man, you can send your email literally the day of. I'm thinking we will be having our studio review on Wednesday. We're going to do our studio review on Wednesday. We're going to get back into a regular rhythm. Man, I'm telling you, the travel schedule has been crazy, y'all. So the Amazon live schedule has suffered, but everything else that we've pretty much kept going. But Amazon lives have suffered because of this travel schedule, and it has not stopped. I want to be clear. I still have I've got one more trip for the month. Yep. And then May we have Incubator's Couch. And then end of May going into June, we'll be taking a break. Much needed break. So we will have some content that'll be available, but keep that in mind, man. And listen, keep us in prayer as well. We appreciate you guys. I'll send to you and David tomorrow. Thanks, G. Albert. We appreciate that. Fam, 14 of you guys on the live. We do not take any of it for granted. Truly appreciate you coming and hanging out tonight. Babe, anything?
Nope.
You were supposed to say yes.
No, I'm good. We can.
You were supposed to say yes. Okay, fam. That's it for us. We will see you in the next one. This is where I'm supposed to switch to like a solo shot, but I don't. That's not gonna happen. It's your boy Kirk Nugent and Kanique Nugent. What's your tagline? See, I love this. Having somebody in the studio with me. No. You have it like the Geek Speaker Preacher. Like, what's yours?
Oh boy.
I
have nothing.
I don't know, because it's definitely not Speaker Preacher, right? It's not.
End the show.
Okay, all right. We'll see you guys in the next one. For those catching the replay, man, let us know what it is. Hopefully, again, like I said, you got a chance to see those puzzle pieces fit together, have that aha moment, and essentially figure out how it all works. And we'll see you, family, in the next video. Later. somebody actually rapping on a mic like this, holding it in their hand like this. I was like, that's crazy. Fam, you know what to do. Check out one of these videos. We'll catch you in the next one. Later.